welcome to the Academic Support webinar. Today we'll be providing you with information to assist you now that the academic year has commenced. We are joined by our colleagues across campus to provide you with all the information that you need to take so that you can prepare yourself, as I've mentioned, now that the year has started. We do know that your assessments are lined up and will be starting very soon. So it's best that we have this conversation with you today so that you can best prepare yourself for the rest of the semester. I am Bonolo Mashadzi, and you're probably wondering who's the face behind in front of your screens today. Now, don't be worried. This is a familiar face to #SecureTheGrad. I am normally behind the scene, and today my role will be to facilitate the conversation with you. So, with that said, I would like to kick off today's conversation, and I welcome you all today, and I can't wait. I just saw in the chat box, where is Ms. Bodhi? Well, she is here with us. But today she just decided to give me the platform to see and feel what it is like to be on the hot seat that she often occupies. With that said, thank you very much. All right. What we're currently displaying to you today, before we kickstart our conversation, are the ground rules that we would like to ask that you keep by. Firstly, we'd like to ask that you please ensure that you keep your mics on mute throughout the conversation. We will afford you an opportunity towards the end of the conversation at our Q&A section, where we will enable your mics for you to speak if you have any questions for us. Please also remember, when joining the session, it is very important that you join with your full name and surname. And also, please remember to complete the evaluation towards the end of our conversation. It is important that for eligibility purposes, that you keep to the criteria of mentioning your name and your surname, because if you do not use that and you use a randomized name, that will automatically disqualify you from the giveaways that we have for the session. Next thing, please also note that throughout the conversation, we will having polls that will appear on your screen. Please make sure that you participate by completing the short questions that we have for you to keep you engaged and interactive throughout the session. With that said, that then brings me to the part where I now introduce the colleagues that we have in session with us today. We are joined by our colleagues from A-Step, CUADS, Library Services, WriteSite, that is at the Center for Teaching and Learning, and the WriteSpace, that is at the Center for Graduate Support. With that said, I would like to give over to my colleagues at A-Step to please introduce themselves. Dineo, may you please introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and an interesting fact that no one knows about you.
Hi, Bonolo. Thank you so much for the invitation. Being with Secure the Grad or being on this platform is always very exciting for us because we're always listening from the other side. But like Bonolo has already introduced me, my name is Dineo Khwase, and I am part of the A-Step tutorial program, coordinating the Bloemfontein campus at the moment. Something interesting about me, I was really avoiding this because it always gets me thinking that I think everyone knows everything about me. But one interesting fact about me is that I have been working at the with the A-Step program for 9 years now.
Thank you very much, Dineo. I hope you all note that when it comes to #SecureTheGrad, you can expect a surprise at any moment. Rethabile, over to you to introduce yourself.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Can you see me? Because I can see me. Another, please. Yes.
Yes, you can.
No, I had to separate onions.
I dislike you right now.
Wodia, your mic is on.
Oh, how do you dislike?
That's what happens when Ms. Woody is making the chat. She clicked the wrong button. My name is Rethabile Marumo, and I'm the Student Learning and Employability Coordinator on the CAUDS campus. Something interesting about me that nobody knows, a lot of people know it, is that I like to cook. I'm a great cook, and I enjoy my own food. Thank you.
All right, sounds interesting. Thank you very much for that. Rethabile. Musa, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Mosamo Erani. I work at the Center for Universal Access and Disability Support, where I'm the liaison advocacy and awareness officer. I think maybe one fact, I don't think it's interesting, but maybe not known, is that one of my most enduring dreams is to travel the continent by bus.
Okay. That
Okay.
is very interesting. Thank you very much for that, Musa. I'm quite curious as to hear how you would embark on that journey. Kolelwa, over to you.
Found out yesterday that I just secured a grad in information services. I don't know if you catch everything that I was saying because it seems like my mic was off, but I hope that you did.
Can I please just ask that you start again?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ola Lwakogela. I work for the Information Service, Library and Information Services at the Bloemfontein campus at the Interlibrary Loans. So what we do, we outsource resources for postgrads in other institutions around the country. And one interesting fact about me, I just found out yesterday that I secured a grad in Information Services. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm looking forward to this afternoon.
Kolelwa, congratulations on your achievement. And I can just hear in the tone of your voice how excited you are to be part of this conversation. We'll look forward to the engagement today. Dr. Piet, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the session. Really excited to be here. I am Dr. Piet van Aert. I am the head of the Writing Center here at the university. Something that people might not know about me is at the ripe old age of 42, I'm planning on starting to take up rollerblading again. So you will probably see me sometime here falling around on campus, and then you can laugh at me. That's fine. Thank you.
Oh, Dr. Piet, you know what? We will not laugh at you, but we'll commend you on starting such an adventurous journey. Thank you very much. Dr. Pamela, over to you.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Bonolo. I hope I'm audible. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I am Dr. Pam Makati. I am the academic writing specialist at the Center for Graduate Support. I coordinate all academic writing support for all postgraduate students within the university. So hopefully if we secure you guys, then you can make use of our writing services. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, STG fam, that brings us to the end of the introductions, and it's preparing us for the conversation that we've prepared for you today. We'll kickstart our conversation with our colleagues at A-Step, and I will be posing the first question to Dineo. Now, Dineo, because of your experience within the A-Step program, please tell us what A-Step is and also unpack with us what a typical tutorial session entails.
All right, Bonolo, thank you for the question. So for everyone that has been hearing the acronym A-Step, we often say A-Step tutorial program, but what it is academic student tutorial and excellence program in full. And what A-Step is, if I can just share the background, A-Step is available on the Bloemfontein campus, South Campus, as well as the Tlotla campus. It was established in 2007. That means that it's a good teenager with attitude that establishes itself in all spaces at the moment. In 2007, what's interesting is that we started just with 55 tutors on the Bloemfontein campus, but right now we are proud to say that we have more than just over 350 tutors operating on all the campuses, meaning that we are able to support more and more students every single year. What the tutorial program is, we offer a space for students to be able to supplement their learning, take what you have learned in class and have someone that is going to facilitate the learning and also be in a space where you can be able to meet other people that speak the same language, that's asking the same language, that has the same interests. And in a typical tutorial session, what you will find is that you will find a tutor that is trained by the ASTEP program, as well as other various departments on the campus. And a tutorial takes 15 minutes if it's one period, and if it's a double period, it will be double that. And when you enter into a tutorial space, there is always one tutor. You can expect to have one tutor or two facilitators that are leading the session available for you. This can be online, or this can be face-to-face. And normally what happens is that the tutor will take you through the unit that you are already familiar with, because we never go ahead of what the lecturer has introduced to the students. So if you did unit 1 in the previous week, or in that particular week, the tutorial will follow exactly that. And what we do is that we cover some of the key concepts that we have already discussed with the lecturers, that we've identified that students need to speak more about, or they need to dissect and understand them very well. You will find discussions with your peers, and it will move from that to getting a chance to ask the tutor more questions if you do have more questions. And I think one thing that we always encourage students to do is that before you go into a tutorial, you should have already engaged with the content, so that when you get in there, you can be able to maximize the benefits that you get in this space.
Thank you very much, Dineo. It's a mouthful what you've just shared with us. And it's also interesting to learn what the teenager that you and Rethabile are responsible for has so much bearing for students, more especially because it supplements their learning. Now, with all the information that you've provided us now, I've also been keeping an eye on the chat box. I would like to find out from Rethabile, please tell us if students need to pay to get assistance from a tutor.
Well, Bonolo, University of the Free State, through the Center for Teaching and Learning, has been very intentional. So students don't pay to be part of the A-STEP. Well, I can say the only payment we expect from students is attendance. That is voluntary. So if they show up, that's all the payment we need from our side. But all the students need to do is to be present for their sessions. This is an initiative of the university that aims to support students, and therefore students are not required to pay for this support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a very important statement you provided us there, that the only fair exchange between A-STEP and students is attendance. Therefore, there is no payment attached to it. So I hope our STG family took note of that. Now, Dineo, going back to you with regards to what A-STEP is, please tell us also, now that you've given us the background information of what A-STEP is, perhaps walk us through how can students sign up for a tutorial?
Okay, Bernardo, thank you for that. In terms of signing up for tutorials, I want to just share with your audience today that we have different types of tutorials that are offered by A-STEP. And what you will find is that most oftentimes is that the students are not really sure how they can be able to access the type of tutorial. Now we have group tutorials that happen face-to-face, or they happen online. Then we also have the CUADS support, which I'm not going to touch on, because I think Musa Marani will be speaking more about that, because it's an initiative between CUADS as well as A-STEP. Then we have another type of tutorials, which is the one-on-one tutorials. And what you find in the one-on-one tutorials is that you would be sitting with someone addressing the exact problem that you have. And lastly, we have the residence tutorials. And I think one thing that I can also mention is that with all these tutorials, we encourage the implementation and the use of various languages, so that we make sure that the students get a chance to fully make an understanding of the work that they learn in that space. And With the group tutorials, you do not have to sign up in most cases. So it will differ from module to module, but majority of the tutorials are open to all students that are registered for the particular module if there is support in the module established with A-Step. And with the CUADS support, you do need to go to the CUADS office, and through the CUADS office, we will be able to appoint a tutor for the particular modules that the student has asked to be supported in. And then we have the one-on-one, which is an initiative that is taking place between A-Step and the GPS. So what happens there is that the student calls the GPS. There's various ways. The student can be able to call into the GPS and wait and into the call center and wait for option 8, where they will be able to speak to someone. And when they finally get to speak to a success coach, they will let the success coach know, hi, my name is Bonolo, I'm struggling with this module, or I'm due for maybe an assignment, and this is where I'm stuck. I would like to get a tutor that would assist me to speak to me on the phone, or do an online session or face-to-face session. Then our colleagues and the faculties, the teaching and learning coordinators, will assign someone to be able to help you with that. And then we also have the residence tutorials. They are currently not in all the residences, but where they do exist, currently, you are able to find out from the RC for academics, and then they will let you know the times that the tutors are available. That is the way that you sign up. You practically just make it known that you need a tutorial, and you also let them know which module you'd want to be assisted in. So with the residence program, it's not it does not always mean that it will be one-on-one. If there is more than one person that needs assistance in the module, they will group them together and then assist them.
Thank you very much, Dineo. That again was a mouthful indeed that you shared with our audience today. And I would like to make our audience aware of the contact details that have been shared by the team, so that you can get in touch with A-Step when you need assistance. Dineo has indicated the various platforms and the opportunities that are available that A-Step provides for you, so that you can get in touch with any of the tutors in the different methods that she made mention of. Now, with that said, Dineo, I'd like to thank you for that information that you've shared, and would like to circle back to Rethabile. Now, Rethabile, please indicate to us what are the benefits that students can derive from attending a tutorial session?
Yeah, thank you for that, Bonolo. The benefits are great. Remember what the A-Step tutorials are. They take place after the mainstream class. And usually in the mainstream class, we have a large number of people. The advantage of that of the tutorials is that it's a small number of students where peer learning and collaboration can take place. So for all my introverts that are afraid to ask questions in the big classroom, or for all the questions that you might have while you're reflecting on your lessons, the tutorial space is where you are able to apply what you learned in the main classroom and actually ask those questions, right? Also, the other benefit is that it enhances your academic performance, because the more you engage with your studies and your learning, with it actually participating with other students, you gain more and you are able to do better in the module that you'll be having the A-Step tutorial in. It's also a great place to develop relationships with other students, because you come to university, you don't know anyone at university, you meet strangers, you meet people that speak different language with you, but you have the same goal, which is doing better in a specific module. So the tutorial provides that environment where you're able to meet a person that you would normally not engage with, because maybe they speak a different language, and relationships are formed from there, where we're seeing students are actually having group discussions outside of tutorial spaces, so it also provides that space. The greatest thing about the tutorials is because of the number of students that we have and the peer facilitator, which is the tutor, it allows students to be actively involved and engage in with one another. It's great because students are able to make and speak language that is relevant to them. I really would not be relevant to a student that is studying now. I really don't want to mention when was I in tutorials as a student. Let's park that. But if you're engaging with somebody at your level, even the examples that you're doing when you try to bring the material to life is very relevant and speaks directly to the students. So those are the benefits. And also just develop, when you know something, you also become confident in dealing with it. It makes our students confident in addressing the material, writing the assignments, or just going into assessments. It increases the interest for a student in that subject matter. It's very frustrating when you don't know what you're working with. And the more you have help in a particular subject, it helps you as a student to actually have interest and just look forward to it. Additionally, there is benefits to being in the tutorials because students see other students being tutors and they develop interest of wanting to be tutors in the following year. So that when you send out applications, what are we seeing? We're seeing more students applying and wanting to be a tutor because one, they know the benefits of being in the tutorials. Two, they've seen somebody else do it and they've identified that, if Bonolo can do it, then I can do it, right? It also creates better job opportunities for our students because the A-step training is quite extensive. You should ask all our tutors. They go through lots of training and they're very developed in the support that the university can provide. And we also give our students certificate based on what we were doing, being a tutor. Did you complete your tutor journey? Did you complete your portfolio? Were you a tutor rep? And all of these recognitions may be small, but these are great milestones that you can use when applying for jobs in other spaces, so that you mentioning that you have been an A-step tutor already gives you an advantage because people know how extensive the training, A-step training is. Improved learning skills because the more you practice to facilitate for other students, you're also learning. It puts you in a better position where you actually understand the job better and the content better. And also just being confident as a person that can be employed in various spaces. So those are the few benefits I can mention. Thank you.
Well, Rethabile, they did not sound few. And I say this because I'm looking at the chat box. For someone like myself who's so used to, being on the chat box, I wanted to jump and also comment, But I like how what you are sharing with the audience today, it coincides with what they're also sharing with us, which just shows the value that our audience gets from A-Step. And most of the things that you've mentioned painted a picture to me that says, what, A-Step makes learning fun. And I think that's the tagline that you should bring along with the colleagues so that students can understand the benefits and the value that A-Step provides for them. Now, with all this information that we've shared so far about A-Step and how it's a teenager, 13 years in existing, it's just amazing news to hear that. I would like to hear from Dineo. Are there perhaps any success stories that you would like to share of tutors who benefited from the program?
Hi, Bonolo. I think when you asked us to bring success stories, we were like, are you trying to get the entire university here? But then today we managed to ask Siviwe, which she's also part of the student learning and employment team. She just come speak to you about the wonders and some of the experiences while she was a tutor and also while she was a student.
Siviwe, are you with us on the call? Now that you're representing the many students on campus that Dino mentioned.
Hi, Bonolo. Hi,
Hello,
everyone.
Siviwe. Now that Dino has mentioned, can you please walk us through your journey as a tutorial? What was the experience like, and what are the tips that you would like to share current tutors and those that are based on this conversation, will definitely be interested to become tutors, and also tell us how did A-Step assist in you succeeding in your own academics?
Okay, thank you so much, Bonolo, for the platform. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Siviwe Majavo. I'm a former tutee and tutor. So I started the journey with A-Step in my first year, and I started being a tutor, which was a great experience for me because in class, things were not looking so good for me. I did not understand actually what was being discussed, and attending tutorials was the best thing for me because I could understand the content and I could apply the content on my own. Also, attending tutorials created a community for me because I met other students that were in the same shoes as me. I created groups, I created study partners, and that was a great experience. And it did not end there because I became a tutor as well, which was also a nice experience because I learned that being a tutor means you also gain some knowledge, more knowledge, and also it means that you're able to apply the knowledge that you've got in your own studies. So academically, being a tutor and being a tutee was very beneficial for me. If I can show you my academic record, you can definitely see when I started attending tutorials. So it was a great experience for me because I got to engage with students. I got to engage with the lecturers as well. It increased my critical skills because I was able now to think outside the box. I was able to think outside the lecture room. I decided to do research so that I can learn more about the content and everything that I had to do. So I was a law student. Now I'm a graduate. So during that process, I was able to gain more information. As I've said, law, with regards to law, we deal with the same legal principles over time. And it means even if you're in your final year, you still apply the same legal principles. So it was a great thing because now I could be able to form my own opinions from all the discussions that I've had with the tutees. And also I could speak with the lecturers, have meaningful conversations that will contribute not only to my academics, but also to my professional development in the legal industry. So it was a great experience. And the tips that I have is that make sure you attend the tutorials free of charge. You're not only going to benefit academically, but you're going to meet people, you're going to network with many people. And yes, thank you so much, Vanilla.
Thank you so much, Sivia, for sharing your success with the A-Step tutorial program. And we really commend you on your achievements and wish you all the best. Thank you for joining us. Now, the golden thread that I'm seeing throughout the conversation with A-Step so far is that Dinawa and Retabile provided us the foundation and the practical sense of how the program unfolds. And Sivia came in with such interesting insights to show you how the practical side of A-Step translated. And I'm just happy to see how the audience received the information so far and how some of you have shown interest in that regard. Now, we're just going to park our conversation with A-Step there for a moment. But if you do have any questions, our speakers will be interacting with you on the chat box. Alternatively, if you would like to talk to us at a later stage, we will give you an opportunity to pose questions to A-Step when we get to our Q&A section. Now, we are moving our conversation to CUADS, and that will be the focus for this section of the conversation. And I would like to pose a question to you, Mosa, and find out from you the explanation of what CUADS is and the support it provides students on campus.
All right. So the Center for Universal Access and Disability Support is here mostly to provide or rather ensure that, the University of the Free State becomes a space that is increasingly accessible for students with disabilities. We also advise, of course, to things about staff and things like that, but mostly our focus is on our students. So, a lot of the times people wonder sort of the kind of disabilities we support. So we have different categories of disabilities, and in these categories, there's also a disability support coordinator that you can reach out to and for support and assistance. So we support students with visual impairments. So these are blind students as well as partially sighted students. And I know students always want to know whether wearing spectacles counts as having a disability. And the short answer there is no. And the reason is that when we speak about being partially sighted, we're speaking to eye conditions that cannot be corrected with the use of spectacles. So there are different conditions that affect a person's visual field or perhaps create spots in their vision and things like that. So and those kind of conditions cannot be corrected with the use of spectacles. We also support students with hearing impairment. So these are students who are hard of hearing, wheelchair users, students who make use of mobility aids, also students with progressive conditions. So if you think about muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, and students as well with cerebral palsy as well, a part of our cohort of students under this category. We also support students with injuries. So often you will find that people, when they hear about CUADS, they only think about permanent disabilities. But what happens if you get injured and it affects, your learning process or your capacity to attend class and so on. So it's important that you know about CUADS if anything like that happens due to the unpredictability of life. We also support students with, whatever injury, that affects your hand functioning and so on. And then we support as well students with learning difficulties. So if you think about students with dyslexia, students with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, we also have an office that responds to those conditions. And we have different services that we provide to the different students. There isn't a one-size-fit-all approach. Even if students are in the same category of disability, even if they're two blind students, we don't assume that they both perhaps, for example, want to make use of Braille as their reading method. So we have an accessible study material team that converts study materials from perhaps, our studies are very text-based. So we convert it either to Braille or to e-text, depending on what the student is comfortable with, or even audio as well. So we do encourage a lot, with our academic staff to also, record classes so that our students have access to that information. We also work together with ASTEP, as Dinelle mentioned earlier on, in terms of providing individual tutor sessions to our students. So one of the reasons for this is that you will find that students with disabilities face different kind of barriers. While we have worked extensively and continue to work really hard to kind of shift, and level the playing field for students with disabilities, there are still areas of improvement in terms of, accessibility for them. So the individual tutor sessions are really important because they bridge that gap. If you think about, for example, if a student who's a wheelchair user arrives at a building and the class is on the first floor and there are only stairs, that's where their learning ends for that day. You get what I mean? And up until they come to us and they say, this particular class is inaccessible, and then we work together with the university as days to correct that. But in the meantime, it's important that students are able to remain, abreast with the developments that are taking place in that studies. So that's part of the work that we do together with Dinelle and Retabile and other ASTEP team members that we work together with throughout the year. We also work together to, oh yes, very important. So we have an alternative assessment office. You thought Dinelle was giving you a mouthful. I was listening earlier on. I was like, she doesn't know what's coming. There's also an alternative assessment office. The Alternative Assessment Office is responsible for, extra time applications, ensuring, arranging tests and assessments in our own venues. So we have test venues at the CUADS offices as well as Modlec. And sometimes, another category of students I forgot to mention are students with mental health conditions. So we might not have psychologists, of course, because that's in the ambit of student counseling and development. But sometimes you will find that someone is diagnosed with anxiety and therefore finds it difficult to write in a place like what is this, EXR6, and then they have to come to CUADS, and we arrange with them to come and come and write at our venues. We arrange test scripts to be delivered. We arrange for an invigilator. So the same kind of standard is maintained, but of course with the very much smaller venue for our students. We also coordinate sign language interpreting for our deaf students. Communication access is also within our offices with Ms. Charity Morrison. And then finally, we have accessible transport. So especially for our students with mobility impairments, as well as blind students as well, it is important that they're able to get around. Sometimes you'll find that, a class is at Stabilis 1, and then the next one is followed by a class at Kopano. Then it's, and even if you're non-disabled students, that's quite a distance. And there's about 10 minutes in between, if I'm correct. So then it's important that a student is able to arrive at their venues. So we do also work quite closely with University Estates for the accessibility of venues and so on. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what we do at CUADS.
Musa, that was more than in a nutshell, if I can twist that commonly used saying. Similar to Dineo, you both, and a step altogether, you've provided information that is very usable for students. And what is interesting for me, because I'm keeping my eye very, very great on the chat box, because it's a commonly known place for me. And what I'm picking up is, what CUADS has to offer. And the moment you started listing the services that are available and in place for students, I saw it as an aha moment for the audience. And I'm saying this based on what I'm seeing in the interaction. And it's also interesting, it's an educational space for us today. So there's a lot to learn. So thank you very much for that, Musa. And the team will be providing information for our audience to get in touch with your office and with you, if they're already intrigued by the much information that you've shared. Now, Musa, based on your experience, in CUADS, please tell us about the most challenges your office often encounters and how you've gone about assisting students with those.
All right. So I think the biggest challenge that we face genuinely is the lack of information. Sort of a lot of our students are unaware of the services, and this we have really sort of embarked on getting integrated into the different spaces and platforms that exist, such as being here today, and other platforms that exist in other departments, to kind of speak to and share about the services that we do offer at CUADS. And because of that, it has really kind of allowed for a lot more of our students to kind of also break the stigma that is attached to the word disability in and of itself. You'll find that students are very hesitant to reach out to CUADS because of the fear of being ostracized, the fear of being excluded or in any way, or discriminated against. Let me use that word because exclusion is ambiguous in our context. But I think it is important for students, particularly in different stakeholders, to take ownership, of disability inclusion and support. So, for example, there's this idea that CUADS is a university unto itself for students with disabilities. This isn't true. We would like for students to be integrated and thought of, our students to be integrated and thought of in the different initiatives and programs that are on campus. I think it allows, for a lot more interaction, a lot more opportunities for our own students to exchange with other students the experience of being a student. And so for us, that has been sort of one of the biggest hurdles, just this and shifting the mindset that CUADS is the only place where students with disabilities belong. They are first and foremost students of the university. They have qualified for the courses, whichever one you find them in. If they experience barriers, it is important for us to then shift those barriers out of the way, because in terms of our own university standards, they have met those, and it is important for us to ensure that they can participate equitably in the academic project, as well as in the co-curricular initiatives that we champion at the university. So we have offices at the South Campus, in Kwakwa Campus, and even here. So those are some of the main challenges. But I think I've spoken a lot about the services that we do provide, speaking to, the idea of, alternative assessments. And I want to share just a small tidbit that you'll find that a lot of the biggest cohort of our students at CUADS is actually students with disabilities that you couldn't perceive. So our students with learning difficulties make up about half of our database. And so that's students with dyslexia, students with ADHD. And so it is important to constantly be mindful of the ways and the different ways in which we present information, in the ways by trying to be and prioritizing inclusivity as much as possible. So, for example, making sure that, we ensure that as wide a variety of students, regardless of their learning styles, their learning methods, can also participate and understand the work. Because, the adage that goes, if you measure a fish by how well it can climb a tree, then you're all, that is entirely unfair. So it's important for us also to kind of think a lot more broadly about it, and we do encourage that we become a lot more inclusive of different students who represent themselves as well as learn in different ways.
Thank you for that, Musa. And what I'm also getting from what you've just shared with us is that CUADS is there to cater for every need for students, and that they can't, it's not on them to decide what their challenges are, but they must just come to your office and seek assistance, because whatever it is that they may be challenged with, there will be someone there to hold them by the hand and assist them in achieving their qualifications. Now, with that said, Musa, please tell us, how can students get in touch with CUADS, more especially because, I'd like to think that there are those who are very, probably in this audience, who are very shy to even approach the office. They don't know how. So to make them more at ease to approach your office, because you've just expanded that it's not just, with specific issues that are commonly known, but even those that are not, rife or ever present or even obvious for most people. So if you can just tell us, how can they get in touch with your office?
Oh, definitely. So somebody was kind enough, the team was kind enough to share our contact details I saw earlier on in the chat box. Please have a look at that. Send us an email, quads@ufs.ac.za. We are also present, like I have mentioned, at South Campus. It's at the Neville Alexander building. At Insika building, it's room GF0013. At South Campus is Neville Alexander. Kwakwa is Insika building. As well as someone is knocking very, very loudly. And then the last part is here at the Bloemfontein campus. We're at the library, right next to the Johannes Stegman Gallery. That's where you will find CUADS. You'll see a sign there, our signature there. It's quite colorful. You really can't miss it. It's really, I think our process then is that what will happen is that you'll reach out to us. We then share with you something we call a reasonable accommodation form. So a reasonable accommodation form basically is a form where you kind of fill out for us, your personal details, the disability category that you have. Some students, you must also remember, have been disabled throughout their lives, and therefore will share with us sort of the accommodations that they received in their high schools or during their basic education years. Other students, you will find that are not aware of kind of the accommodations that we have. So we do then list them on that form. So you can indicate to us how you would like for us to assist you. But in the event that it's not there, there's nothing there that you are particularly requesting, then there's an empty space for you to fill out. And then there's a consent form to kind of fill out for us to sign for us. And of course, someone asked earlier on if you have to have, a diagnosis prior to entering the university. That isn't the case, even if it happens that you get diagnosed during your studies. I mentioned earlier on that some people have progressive conditions. So someone would have entered the university system without a disability, and then perhaps later on, conditions such as muscular dystrophy, which is sort of the deterioration of one's muscles, a condition that affects your mobility and the capacity of your muscles, as well as multiple sclerosis. They are progressive, and as the years go by, you need a different kind of support. So if, for example, at some point you are non-disabled and then you need a crutch, and then at some point you're using your wheelchair, all of those are in place, and we try hard to meet students wherever they are and whatever it is that they require from us. We really do our best to support.
Thank you very much for that, Musa. I do note that you've received a couple of questions. I would like to park the conversation with you at the moment. We will circle back to you when we get to the question and answer section.
No problem.
Now, to our audience, there goes our first poll. So please ensure that you complete it while we prepare ourselves for the next section of this conversation, where we'll now be focusing on the library. Now, Kolelwa, now's your time to give us some information about the library so that, our audience today can just, create a list of resources for themselves so that they know after this conversation who they can reach out to best assist them for the rest of the semester. Now, before we start the conversation with Kolelwa, please make sure that you complete the poll that's up so that we can get real-time feedback from you. Kolelwa, the first question that I have for you is that please tell us what are the various services that the library provides for senior students?
Thank you very much, Bunalo. So we've got services here in the library that is there to support the students. I just want to share a presentation that I have so that students can see what we have in the library. So when we speak about the library, a lot of students think that we are only speaking about the studying areas, but we've got spaces that are there to make sure that we support the students. These are learning commons. We also have discussion rooms or collaboration rooms that the students can book in order to have their sessions. We also have a leisure reading area. So if you want to take a break away from your studies, we've got that here in the library in all our campuses. And of course, we've got 24/7 study logs, the makers space, which is a new space that we have in the library for those who are creative or who would want to pursue their innovative side besides their studies. And of course, I did say that we've got the study area. So we've got different services that we offer as the library. So one of them is faculty librarians that are there to assist all the students in their respective faculties. We've got one-on-one in-depth training that you can book with them. We also have research support. And of course, the library is not just the building or the studying area, but we also have our online library, which is catering for electronic resources, the library mobile app, which I will also just touch on later on. We also have Ask a Librarian on our online library. We've got lib guides that I will also share on how you can make use of them. We also have tutorial videos that are there to assist you in making sure that you maybe carry out your assignment or just the library spaces. We also have e-course reserves for the students that they can make use of. Thank you very much, Bonalo.
Thank you very much for that, Kolelwa. I just forgot to unmute my mic over there. So you've mentioned that there are various avenues that students can visit to access information at the library, and that you also mentioned that you don't offer space for learning, that there are physical elements to the services that the library provides. Kolelwa, I think you and I are not in sync. I think perhaps we are either one of us experiencing a network issue.
I don't know if you can hear me at the moment.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So you've also mentioned librarians. So the question that I have relating to that is, how do librarians assist students, and also how can students get in touch with them?
Okay, also just to share what I have, we've got different faculty librarians that are catering for the respective faculties that we have. So these are faculty librarians that we have. For EMS, we've got Mr. Sipoko Molatudi, who is situated at level 5, and we've got education librarian at level 7, that is Miss Rone Frey. I am going to be sharing all these slides. We also have law librarian, Mr. Zaneki Wellington Sotu, who's also situated at level 5. For natural and agricultural sciences, we've got Ms. Nobuhle Maisela at level 7. We also have Ms. Khadibalo Mushotlwa at level 7 as well. For humanities, we've got Mr. Lee Goliath at level 7. For health sciences, we've got one at medical library at the Friscott Library, Ms. Malifumu Posha. And for theology, we've got Mr. Mahlaha Mulebo. And for after hours, so if you want to come after hours, that is between 4:30 and 10 o'clock, we've got Mr. Ohenze Diseko, who will be assisting you.
All right, Kolelwa, the network on your end seemed to have not displayed your presentation. But the team has shared.
Okay, I think maybe we can just continue. Then I can just share all the slides with you. Maybe you can share with the students as we go along.
All right, not a problem. Thank you very much for that. Now, Kolelo, you mentioned the various avenues, like I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, that students can access information. Can you walk us through the various platforms that are in place for students so that they can learn about them in the session?
Okay, so as I did say that we've got our online library. So this is where you can get all the resources that the student might need. So you get our library on the university's website, www.ufs.ac.za. And you go to the tab library. So under library, you've got resources. This is where you can access all the resources and the information that you need, especially for the assignment or your research. If you're looking for books, we've got catalog Kovsies that we use to search for books, and it can give you the location of the book. So sometimes you find that the location of the book is not in the campus that you want, and you can request that book, wherever campus you are. So if you're in Kwakwa campus, you can make use of that and just request the book that you want, and it can be sent to Kwakwa. We also have our electronic resources. So these are our databases from A to Z. So they have been put together. So these cater for different faculties or different disciplines within your study. So you can also make use of that. You also get your articles. So these are the articles that maybe you want to use. We also have past exam papers on our online library. So if you want to refer to past exam papers, and if they have been uploaded there, so if your lecturer has brought it to the library, we upload it there. If you want to access our institutional repository, so these are theses and dissertation that have been done by previous students that were studying at the university, you can also access them there. We also have LibGuides. So LibGuides is the information that your faculty librarian has put together for anything that might be related to your information needs. So these are either training videos on how to access databases, library spaces videos, makerspace videos, like all the other videos. Also, they have their information there on how you can get in touch with them. So you find that under LibGuides. And we also have just different platforms on the LibGuides on how to book for the collaborative spaces or how to book for Makerspace. All that information is found under LibGuides, and this information is found under the library website, which is under resources. I think I've covered everything, or just one more thing. We'll also have a new feature that we have, which is called the chat box, Ask Tuso. So if you've got any information, you are at home and you want to get any information about whatever resource that you want to learn about, you can just drop them in message, and then when they have time, they will make sure that they respond to you. We'll also have Ask a Librarian. So if you are at home and you want to ask a librarian anything about information resources or trainings that they have, you can also make use of that Ask the Librarian.
Thank you very much, Kolelwa. With regards to the different services that the library provides, where can students at the Kwakwa campus and South campus can access the services?
Okay, so at the Kwakwa campus, we're at TK Mubedi Library. And if you are looking for information librarian, Ms. Kinosi Maholela is the person that you can speak to. And at the South campus, it is Neville Alexandra Library. And you can speak to Tudo, who is there, and they can be able to assist with your information needs. And of course, as I said, that you can also make use of our online library by asking a librarian there. So you just go to under electronic resources, there's a feature that says Ask a Librarian, and it can allow you to ask your faculty librarian any questions. They get an email and they respond to you with whatever question that you have.
All right. It's quite a mouthful that you've shared with us, considering, the difference between online resources and physical resources. You also mentioned there's a space for leisure reading. So it's quite, a mouthful of information to digest. So I just want you to tell us, what are the operating library hours? Please also mention how can students visit and when they can visit the library during holidays as well.
Thank you very much. So the library works with the university's opening hours from 8 until 4:30, from 8 until 10 o'clock. So if you want to use the library, you can use that time from 8, and we've got information librarians even in the evenings. So if you are busy during the day, you can come in the evenings. We've got an evening librarian that can be able to assist you until 10 o'clock. And of course, we've got 24-hour study area, which is situated right outside the library, and you can make use of that if you want to study overnight. During the holidays, we open up until 4:30. And of course, this is determined by the number of students that are using. So sometimes you get that even though the university is on recess, it is busy. So we are also guided by that. During the exams, we are open 24 hours. And in that 24 hours, we also have an evening librarian that is there to assist the students if they've got any questions or if they just need any information resources, they are able to cater for them. And of course, they can make use of the books, of the prescribed material that we keep here in the library as well.
All right, Xolelo, on the note of the operating hours, what about the circulation desks? Do they also work according to the hours that you've listed, or do they have a different system in place?
Okay, so they work according to the opening times of the library. So the circulation desk is open from from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock in the evenings. On weekends, we open from 9 until 1. It is open. During the exams, we are open 24 hours, so someone will be there to assist you. And during recess, it is open from 8 until 4:30, depending on how busy the library is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Xolelo. I do see that there are questions that are also queuing in for you. So we'll park the conversation with you for now and just make our way to the conversation with Dr. Piet. Now, Dr. Piet, we would like to hear from you to please tell the audience what the WriteSite is and how it assists students.
Thank you, Bonolo. I'm just trying to share something here with you guys. So just give me a moment if it's possible, please. Yeah, all these things. But I am struggling, obviously, now to get it to share, of course. So, yeah, I don't know if somebody has it on your side, perhaps. Maybe they can put it on.
No problem, Dr. Piet. The team is working on displaying it on your behalf.
Cool, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But to answer your question, Bonolo, so the Writing Center here at the university, we provide a space for all undergraduate students who are busy with academic assignments like essays or tasks, those kind of things, that they can come to our venue here in the library. We're based on all 3 campuses within the libraries, and then students can sit with consultants on a one-on-one basis. Thank you, there we go. And then they can sit with somebody who is either a postgraduate student or somebody who's a professional writing consultant, and we provide guidance to the students. So what I want to present to the students today is just quickly, I'll try to be brief, just tell them, who we are, what we do, and why it matters. So you can move on to the next slide, thanks. So our Writing Center is for all the students on all the campuses. So we provide support for students in the humanities, the EMS, the law, health sciences, the NAS students, education, and even the theology students. So we are there for any student at any time of the year who is busy with writing an assignment or a task, and they have some challenges with that. Next slide, please. And so we provide different services. We provide online workshops for different subjects if that is required. So usually if we have like really big courses, within the law faculty or humanities or education. We provide students with online workshops that we arrange with the lecturers. These are discipline specific, so we try to focus on for students on their specific needs in their subjects, because for every faculty there are different needs, different assignments and those things. We also do face-to-face workshops that we go to the departments, we work with the students. That's a lot of fun because we send our writing experts to the departments, and then within the students' classrooms, we present to them in the workshops, we work together with them. And then, but the most important thing, I think, is, you know, the center itself, where students can come to us for individual sessions, as I've mentioned earlier. So if any student has a problem with any kind of assignment with academic writing, they can come sit with somebody one-on-one. There's no pressure, there's no judgment, and we can discuss their article or their assignment. Next slide, thanks. So our goal is to expand, to help more students, to collaborate with more and more departments. You know, we work with all the faculties, but not yet with all the departments. We are busy with research, seeing how we can improve our goals and our service delivery to help the students even more and better. We produce unique writing center content that is localized and that is relevant to our students here at the University of the Free State. So when students come to us, they must realize that the work that we are busy with has to deal with also the work that they are busy with. So whatever they have on their heart, whatever their problems are, it is relevant, and we will work towards that. And we strive to become, in a few years' time, the best writing center, university writing center in Africa. So last year we we made academic writing accessible to more than 3,000 students through 80 interventions. These include workshops, these include personal and face-to-face, and also on the online. We serviced 41 modules across all 7 faculties. Over 1,700 students came to us for their one-on-one consultations. We discussed their work with them, and then when the students then evaluate the sessions, after they've sat with a consultant for 50 minutes, they evaluate how the session has gone. And we found that, you know, more than 80% of our students strongly agree that the consultants listen to their concerns. So our job is not to tell the students what to write, but it's to ask them what they understand of the assignment. And so our job is many times to listen to the students, not so much to, you know, to force our ideas down upon them or to judge them, you know, for what they've written, but more to listen to them and try and find out where we can assist and where we can guide them going forward. And so more than 80% of our students also find that the questions we ask, the guidance we give, that it is, you know, it is useful. Thank you. We can move on. And so it's part of a bigger process. People have to realize when they write at university, everybody can be a writer, but not everyone can be a good writer. And so we try to equip the students with the necessary skills in order for them to become better writers, so that they can apply it in all their different subjects. My dream would be if a student comes to us with an essay that they have to write in their main subject, and then, you know, they learn from us and they kind of see what kind of questions to be asked to be a critical thinker, that they then can apply that in the other subjects as well, with the other assignments as well. But we motivate students to come back. They must know that our whole process of working is, we have a lot of students, many students who come back for a second, a third, a fourth kind of consultation with us. And so gender, almost 80% of our students are females, because we know now that us men, we don't like to ask most for guidance or for directions. You know, if a man gets lost in his car, his wife asks him, "Are you lost?" And he says, "No, I'm not lost. I'm sitting here right next to you." So men don't really enjoy asking that much, but we need to change that as well at the university. We need to show, you know, that all students, we're there for everyone. And so if we move on to the next slide, well, I just want to show you that, you know, 71% of our students coming to the Writing Center, they're African, 20% are white, 6% are 3% are colored. And so we work with any student to come to us. It's not a specific kind of student. It's not somebody from a specific background. It's people from all backgrounds. They are the home languages of the students visiting us. You'll see that 21% of it is Afrikaans, followed by English, isiZulu, Sesotho, we've got isiXhosa there and Setswana. So our consultants also speak different languages. Obviously, the majority of our sessions take place in English. The vast majority, because the academic assignments and so forth are required to be written in English. But if a student says, listen, I really would prefer to sit with somebody and discuss my assignment in my mother tongue, we do have people who's Afrikaans speaking, who's Sesotho speaking, who's isiZulu speaking as well. It's impossible to cater for all the languages with this because we just don't have the people speaking all of them, but we do try to cater for the students according to their language needs. And so here are just some, because I see you're asking my other colleagues for some of the feedback maybe from students or stories or stories of success. On the screen, people can see that they are some of the feedback from our students, just how they experienced the Writing Center, what it did to them, what the consultant does to them. So you can see that the majority is really positive. Students tend to be kind of, doubtful when they come to us. It is perhaps, daunting to talk about your own work with someone else, but our students leave feeling more at ease. They feel like they've got more self-confidence. They feel like somebody's been listening to them, and they feel like they are closer to reaching success. And we are very happy about that. That is, for us, that is the main thing. So I want to tell the students that, listen, we are here for you. We are on your side. We want to help you with your writing. And so good luck for the year. It's easy to get hold of us. It's just WriteSite at ufs.ac.za. I'll pop that into the message board there if it's not there already. But you can make a booking anytime except during holidays. We don't operate then, but you can send us an email and then somebody will get back to you and we will assist you with arranging a consultation. And that is my story. Thank you, Bonola, and thank you for the rest of the team.
Thank you very much, Dr. Piet. I was very fascinated by the statistics that you shared with us, especially the gender distribution. It's quite interesting to learn and also know where our students go and in terms of gender. What I would like you to provide us in this conversation is please walk us through a typical consultation now that you've mentioned that students can book. So perhaps give an idea of what they can expect upon booking a consultant.
Okay, sorry, I'm having just troubles here with my camera. Okay, so what they can expect is when they come to sit down with somebody, they can expect to be asked questions. So we tend, like I said, not to tell the students what to write. We don't sit there and edit their stories, but we will go through their academic writing. We'll try to figure out, what it is that the student wanted to say, and we'll ask them, in what areas did you find trouble? Where would you like me to assist you? So it's very much guided by the students themselves. So they mustn't be afraid that they'll come and be judged or anything like that. And we go through the assignment or the essay, and the consultant will, ask questions for the student. What did you try to say here, and what do you think we can add over there? And so it'll be a session of about 50 minutes, Bonolo, where the student can just come and also express to us, that this part is maybe the most difficult, or this part they don't understand. And like I said, we sit with our people are all postgraduates. They've all got, postgraduate degrees and so forth. And so they have experience in writing. And so they will guide the students based on the specific students' needs for that 50 minutes. And then at the end, we ask the students, okay, well, now, we've gone through this. Are there any more questions? Anything else that you need maybe for clarity? If the deadline is still far away, we motivate the students to make another appointment so they can go home or to their res and maybe fix the writing, then come back again at a later stage when they've made another appointment, and then we'll be there again for them. And then we just ask them to fill in a form to evaluate the session. That is just so that we can ensure our quality management is actually being done, so that we can improve where we need to improve our services to the students. And then the student, like I said, they're welcome to then go and then make another appointment to come back. We love seeing students again. We've got students doing, the one student we've got, I think, made over 30. Our record so far for one student is over 30 consultations throughout their 4-year degree. And that person got their degree within their 4 years. So I hope that we had a hand in that. But we love seeing students coming back.
Thank you very much, Dr. Piet. Based on what you've just said, in terms of how a typical consultation unfolds, I would like to think that a burning question for the audience right now is how and when can they approach the WriteSite to book an appointment? Can you please provide us with that information?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just let me just, where's this chat thingy? There we go. Okay, so chat, we have writesite@ufs.ac.za. The best way is that to just send us an email. Otherwise, you will find on the students will find on their course Blackboard pages, there should be links there as well to the Writing Center or the WriteSite, and then they can click on there. They can also find instructions there. But the best way would just be to send us an email, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Piet, for the information that you've shared with us. We will be parking the conversation with you at the moment, but we will revisit it again when we get to the question and answer section. Just to clarify things with our audience before we move over to Dr. Pamela, I would like the audience to take note that the WriteSite is available at the Center for Teaching and Learning at the Cecil Library, so that you don't get confused with the next part of the conversation. Now, with this, having said that, I would like to give over to Dr. Pamela to walk us through the academic support that is in place for postgraduate students. Dr. Pamela, over to you.
Thank you, Bonolo. May I please share my presentation?
Yes, Doc, you may.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can, Doc.
All right, okay. I will respond to your questions, but in the process, I will be going over the slides. Okay, so I will hand over to you to start.
All right. So, Doc, can you please explain to us what academic support is in place for postgraduate students?
All right. Thank you so much, Bonolo, for the question. And just to clarify again, we work with postgraduate students, and the WriteSite, they are your support all the way until you complete your undergraduate studies. And from there, then you come to us so that we prepare you and train you for your research studies. So the academic support that we have for postgraduate students is in the form of our research capacity development training. Then we also have one-on-one writing support. I will get into that later. We also have online courses, and we also have writing diets and retreats. I will explain all of that later. So with regards to the research capacity development training that we have, it's really targeted at capacitating and also training all postgraduate students with regards to their research and writing skills. So we have workshops that are targeted at research methodology, and these include how to conduct qualitative research, how to conduct quantitative research, mixed methods research, action research, and all other topics that are related to research methodology. Then we also have a category that focuses on research and academic writing for research purposes, that is. And we obviously look at how to write your literature review, how to write your research proposal, how to write your methodology chapter, how to write your introduction chapter, how to write your abstract for your dissertation or for your research article, how to write a research article, and obviously all of the other aspects that are specific to academic writing, such as the academic writing process, the principles and features thereof. Then we also look at plagiarism and referencing, how to search for sources for your research, how to read and comprehend scholarly complex texts that you will engage with for your research. Then we also have a category on research ethics, how to apply for your ethical clearance to conduct conduct your research. Then we also have a category on research supervision, but a lot of these are more targeted at your supervisors then. But there are some workshops that are very helpful for you to attend as postgraduate students, more especially the thesis examination and also the supervisor-student agreement. And we also have other workshops on, policies such as your plagiarism policy and also the master's and doctoral policies. And last, the research software workshop. So all of these, they really, help you to, with how to use the software for your research, perhaps for creating your online surveys and how to analyze your data. The other academic support that we have is in the form of the online courses, and these are also targeted at postgraduate students really struggling with their basic language and grammar skills. Then we also have online courses in academic writing and also introduction to research methodology. And all of these can be done in your own space and time. Thank you, Bonolo.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pamela, for walking us through the academic support that is in place for postgraduate students. Please then unpack for us how the WriteSite specifically assists postgraduate students.
All right, just a correction there, Bonolo, it's the right space, okay?
Look at me confusing
not
the
right
two.
side.
I just highlighted the differences. My apologies for that. The right
It's
space.
okay. All right, so similar to the right space, to the right side, we will also focus on all aspects of academic writing, okay? But for us, we focus, on these aspects, obviously, with reference to your research writing. So you will come to us, perhaps if you're working on your research proposal, perhaps if you're working on chapters of your dissertation or your thesis, or perhaps if you're writing, your articles for journal submission. So you can come to us and we will assist you. So we also look at, the generic academic writing aspects such as clarity and articulation of ideas, critical reading, referencing. We also, brainstorm with you some of the ideas. We also assist you with revision. We also ensure, guide you to ensure that there is logic and flow in your writing. So also remember that our vision at the right space, is to facilitate postgraduate students' generic writing skills. And so we really try as much as possible to target those. And we do this in the form of the one-on-one writing consultations, okay? So you can request to have a face-to-face a face-to-face writing consultation at the WriteSpace consulting rooms here at the Center for Graduate Support, or you can also request to have an online session. And our writing consultants are also available after hours during the week. So if you are a working student, you're more than welcome to request for an after hours online session, and also on weekends, that is Saturday mornings up to about mid-afternoon thereabout. So we actually read your chapter or your article in a very friendly and non-judgmental and empathic manner. Remember, it is a safe space to discuss your writing and to guide you so that you become a better research writer. So we look at obviously your clarity of ideas, as I mentioned earlier. We guide you on ensuring how there is coherence and cohesion in your work, reading and comprehending complex texts, information synthesis, and referencing skills. Thank you, Bonolo.
All right, Dr. Pamela, thank you very much. Now, please tell us, how can students make an appointment at the right space? I'm happy I got it right this time. And also walk us through how they are assisted throughout the consultation. You can perhaps make an example with either one of the options that are available for them.
All right, thank you, Bonolo. All right, so to make a booking, okay, you can either send an email to the WriteSpace email address there, that is writespace@ufs.ac.za, or you can complete the online booking form. The link is available there. I will send these slides to the team, and they will distribute to all students, so you will still receive all these details. So you can download the online booking form and complete your request. So you will indicate what stage of your research you are. Let's say if you're writing your literature review, you'll indicate that. Then you have to specify the aspects of academic writing that you're struggling with within that literature review. So if it is perhaps, let's say, use of transitional phrases, then you'll have to indicate that I'm struggling with transitional phrases, okay? And then you'll also be expected to submit your draft chapter. So please don't send draft chapters of 30 pages long or more, because we only read, remember, we were still working with you throughout your writing process. So it is ideal that at least you send maybe a maximum of 10 to 15, because in any case, your writing challenges are most likely to be recurrent throughout the chapter, and we will pick up all of those in the preliminary pages. So just send parts of your chapter and we will work with you and guide you in terms of how to use transitional phrases and ensure that there is cohesion and logic and flow in your work. So that is just a screenshot of the link. If you click on the link, then it opens for you to register. And if you click there where it says register, then the whole form will open up and you can complete the booking form and attach your draft work. Even if it's an abstract for your research article, you're more than welcome to do that. An abstract for your dissertation or thesis, you can do that, or drafts of your chapter or your research proposal. And please do take note that all of our services are free and they're open to all postgraduate students within the university, from the honors level all the way to PhD level. Thank you, Bonolo.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pamela. Now, I would like to find out from you, do you have any success stories having, after the existence or the establishment of the WriteSpace, how have postgraduate students that have visited the WriteSpace, provided feedback in terms of the services that they've received from you? I think this is just me trying to, also throw in a hint that I've also used the services myself as a postgraduate, and I must say it was quite valuable. So we would like to hear from you if you've had any successful stories from postgraduates who've used your services.
All right, thank you so much, Bonolo. Okay, so I've taken some extracts from the feedback that the students have given recently and even in the past. So this one reads, during my honors journey, I got accustomed to the WriteSpace where I often consulted with regards to my research work. The WriteSpace really opened its doors in helping, assisting and supporting me academically. They helped me with properly structuring my work so it makes sense to the reader and ideas are clear. In addition to that, they assisted me with brainstorming and articulating research ideas and how to handle and I think they meant to say analyze data. They also offered seminars for research, which I attended and were very fruitful to me and made my academic journey smooth, less stressful and successful as I ended up getting a distinction for my research module. In closure, I'm really grateful of the help I experienced and I can only hope others can share the same testament. And finally, as a master's candidate, I will still be utilizing the resources rendered by the WriteSpace, as have seen seen how they have assisted me. So this is now a current master's student, and he was a frequent user of the WriteSpace in 2022 when he was an honors student. Then another master's student says, I started using WriteSpace services back in 2021, and I would recommend it to fellow postgraduate students seeking writing assistance. My supervisor used to have an issue with my sentences being truncated, lack of conciseness, and poor coherence within and between paragraphs. The WriteSpace consultants provided me with guidance on how to better articulate my work. Now there is improvement in my paragraph structure and coherence. The consultants are easy to talk to, made it easy to engage with their feedback and make progress in your writing. For students seeking to improve their writing skills, WriteSpace is the go-to solution. I'm not going to read all of those other feedback. I'll just pick one short one. Let's see from the PhD students. Yeah, I'll read the two from the PhD students. Thank you very much for your guidance as well as for the additional resources that you have shared with me. I learned a lot from the consultation and I am now confident to tweak my abstract accordingly. Then the other one said, WriteSpace is essential for postgraduates because the sessions provide proper guidance towards becoming paragons in the field of research. And that's another PhD student. Thank you, Bonolo.
Thank you, Dr. Pamela. So fascinating to learn the feedback that you've received to date from the postgraduates. I hope our audience today can see that there is a safe space holistically on campus, from the tutorial program in place all the way up to writing at undergraduate level to postgraduate level, and that they can make the distinction between the different departments and the value they bring for them across. Thank you very much, Dr. Pamela. We'll be parking your conversation for now as we are preparing ourselves for the question and answer segment. So I would like the audience to prepare their questions. While you do prepare your question, we have our third poll up for you to complete. Please remember that now that we've reached this section of the conversation, we will enable your mic so that you can pose a question to any of our speakers. In the meantime, please remember to complete the poll that we have up for you. So I'll be going down the list to check if we have any questions from our audience. Alternatively, we will pick one from the chat box that has been addressed to either of our speakers. We do not have any hands at the moment. It's the first time in an STG webinar that we do not have hands popping up with questions. All right, now that we've skimmed through the questions and have afforded everyone the opportunity to raise their hands, in the interest of time, we've got something very exciting for our audience today. Right now, we would like to make your way as #SecureTheGrad that we've got something epic, exciting, and sizzling on the 1st of March. But before I give more information, let me not give it away all too quickly and just give over to the team to play what they've prepared for you.
Mark your calendars as we put you at the center of an exhilarating experience filled with fun, entertainment, and endless opportunities to connect. Expect nothing but great vibes, epic music, and a chance to mingle with incredible people. This isn't just an event, it's an unforgettable experience. Do not miss out on the ultimate festivity of your senior year. Be there to create memories that will last a lifetime. It's about being part of something extraordinary. Join us for the Seniors Ultimate Fest 2024 and be part of this unforgettable celebration. Stay tuned for more updates and get ready to make this year's fest an experience worth cherishing.
All right. Now, I don't know, based on the teaser that we've shared with you, if you were able to make sense of what's coming up for you. If you don't, I've got some great news for you. So on the 1st of March, hashtag Secure the Grad will be providing you with a jam-packed line of activities lined up from the start of the day up until the end. We've got a two-part event taking place on the 1st of March, like I've mentioned. Firstly, we'll be starting with the Student Networking Expo. That will be taking place at the Tuckening Bridge from 12 up until 2 in the afternoon, where you will be able to meet many of the support services available on campus to come and display their exhibitions to you. We'll also have an entertainment lined up for you. So please make sure that you sign up. We will be posting the links onto the chat box. What will happen after that networking element is that in the evening, we are going to have the Senior Student Ultimate Fest. And that is where the great deal of entertainment will be, where we will be having some of your favorite local DJs, some artists, which shall not make mention of, that you can start getting excited to see. Now, that event is exclusively free. If I'm not even giving it all too quickly. With that evening, we also have an entrepreneurial element where we'll be allowing entrepreneurial students to showcase their products and services to their fellow students so that they can learn about what their peers have to offer. And you'll also be able to get the opportunity to meet the hashtag Secure the Grad team outside the webinars that we'll be having with you. Now, with that being said, I hope you're busy getting your tickets in line. We've posted the QR code. We've also posted the link that you can share. So with that said, be on the lookout for more information that we'll be sharing. In the meantime, with the information that we've shared with you, tell a friend to tell a friend. Otherwise, we'll be there and you'll be told on what you would have missed out. Also, together with that, stay tuned because we can't wait for the day. If you recall, Seniors Day last year, 17th of March, we'll be bringing you that at a bigger scale and even greater. And we can't wait to have you there. While you complete the links that we've provided you with in preparation for the 1st of March, please remember that we were keeping an eye on your participation and interaction throughout the session. So we are now moving over to announcing our winners for the afternoon. But before we do, I would just like to mention that you take note of the information that we have over there. At the beginning of the conversation, Dineo did make mention of GPS that you can access where they assist with tracking your success. This is now where a GPS contact center member will call you to keep an eye on your activities and just let you know that they're here to assist you. So if you would like to get any assistance in that regard regarding your academics and also your progress, you can get in touch with the GPS by calling them on 051 401 9111 and selecting option 2. Alternatively, you can follow the email address that we've provided to you. If you would like to get assistance beyond the GPS contact center, you can reach out to an academic advisor either at the Bloemfontein, Kotlo campus or South campus by just sending them an email and they will assist you. They also assist according to the different faculties that we have on campus. Together with that, you can also approach them on Facebook where you can find them at Academic Advising. You can also email A-Step if you don't know who can assist you with tutorials, and they will get you in touch with the right tutor for your right faculty. With that said, if you would like to keep in touch with us as hashtag Secure the Grad, please remember to follow us on Instagram at Secure the Grad. Remember, we will be sharing the recordings. Alternatively, we'll also be posting them on Blackboard where you can access them if it so happened that you had to leave us early in the conversation or just at the end, especially if you missed information about the Senior Ultimate Fest coming up on the 1st of March. Please also remember to complete the evaluation to provide us with feedback as to how you found the session, what we need to improve on, and what you look forward to with the next webinars that we have lined up for you for the rest of the year. While you take note of that information, I would like to then move over to announcing the winners that we have today. At the beginning of the conversation, I did mention that you would need to join the session with your full name and surname. And if you did not, that would automatically disqualify you from the prizes. So this time we've beefed up our prizes and our winners for today will get to see what we have that is slightly different from what we normally provide you with. We've got Ilandi. I hope I don't mispronounce names, so I'll just try to be as cautious as possible. We've got Kanyisa Baloyi. We've got Tembile Ngomezulu. Tembile, I recall your name from a number and a series of webinars, so kudos to you for constantly and keeping on to join our sessions. And then we've got Lidimu. And lastly, we've got Butle. Congratulations to our winners. Please get in touch with us by sending us an email at securethegrad@ufs.ac.za. Please remember in your correspondence, do mention your name, your surname, as well as your student number. Please also mention the webinar in which you attended and you were selected as a winner. Please remember to provide us or send us the email within 2 days after the webinar so that we can respond to you and provide you with what you've been awarded with. With that said, I'd like to thank you very much. You've been a lovely audience to have. For a first time hosting such a webinar with such a great audience, thank you so much. It's been great. And to our speakers, thank you very much for availing yourselves. We look forward to reaching out again. And the conversation does not end here. We will continue to create awareness about our services across campus, year in and year out, semester in and semester out. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish you a lovely afternoon. Goodbye.